Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bible for Kids podcast, and this is Creative Craving. This is day 6, and we're in Genesis 4. Just a simple reminder, our goals are to produce a simplified word choice with high-frequency, easy words, and I want to share with everyone under the CC0 license. Okay, let's get into it. And of course, where we left off was right in the middle of chapter 4. My baby woke up and necessitated the end of the podcast. And I was just thinking, like, if I can keep this 14 verses per hour, if I can keep up 14 verses per hour, and if I can manage 5 streams per week, that means it'll take me about 8 years to finish this. So, realistically, we're not going to finish the Bible, but we're going to keep going until we don't. And we'll get enough done for a starting point. So, in the meantime, if if you all reach out and you want to support me, that'd be great. Because if I could commit more than an hour a week or more than an hour a day to this, I could get it done quickly. Like if I could make it a 40-hour work week, then I could get it done within a year. So that's something to think about. Like if you want to reach out and support, please do. Okay. Now let's see. We were doing verse 6 here, and I'm still not happy here exactly with how I have things. I would love to have spent more time thinking through this phrase, and also right here. I don't like the word rise, and I don't like this whole expression, right? Why are you mad? Why will you not look up? If you do well, won't you be happy? So I used won't here. I think I'll use won't here. And the reason I use won't here is because I don't think this makes sense if you say, will not you be happy? Doesn't make any sense. Won't you be happy? And won't your face rise? That makes sense in modern English, but will not you be happy? I guess it's will you not be happy? I could go with that, okay. Is it worth it? Will is number 173. Won't is way down here, but honestly, for a kid, it's not so far down. Let's try it. Let's undo that change. Will you not be happy? I was rushing at this point. That's probably why I didn't remember that. I think that's harder to read. I'm going back to won't. Like, won't might be a slightly harder word, but I think it's way easier to understand. Oh. Why won't you look up? There we go. So I'm kind of caught here because obviously, Cain's face has fallen, right? He would not look up. I'm really, like, we got this image here of him looking down at the ground, right? But it doesn't say he was looking at the ground. It doesn't say where he was looking. It's just saying he wouldn't look up. So I feel like the modern way of saying it is a little bit different and would specify different details, but I don't have those details. He looked down is what I'd like to say. So this whole thing feels a little bit awkward because I'm trying to keep the same word choice. And I also don't want to lose this image of him looking down, So I feel a little awkward about that. Won't your face rise? I could just say look up. Won't you be happy and won't your face rise? Anyway, we're going to leave it right there. Excuse all the noise. Just a second. All right, I'm back. Okay, so let's go to verse 7 here. I think starting a new chapter here makes sense, or a new paragraph. I think that makes enough sense. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just uh, wait a minute. That isn't verse 6. This is verse 6 and 7. Okay, never mind. Okay, sin will bend down like a sleeping bear at your door. And then verse 8. No, if you don't do well, sin crouches at the door. Its desire is for you, but you are to rule over it. Okay, now this is interesting. This whole thing is really this whole image is really fascinating. Okay, so verse 7. And okay. It says his desire. He wants you. I'll just say he wants you. And I could say it wants you. I think that makes more sense. It wants you, but you are to rule over it. I want to say should here. I need a different corpus. Maybe I need to use a simple English corpus instead of the wiki one, but that's not going to be something for right now. That's probably a plan for next week. All right, maybe if we switch corpuses, it'll be better. Maybe it'll be worse. We'll find out. We'll find out next week. All right, but you are to rule over it. I could say are supposed to, but I think that's just wordier without increasing clarity. You should take charge of it. Take charge of it. This is really interesting, right? It says you're to rule over sin. It doesn't say you're to eliminate sin completely. It doesn't say eradicate sin. It says rule over it, take charge over it. And there's this idea I've been thinking about recently in my Christian life, like, those unpleasant desires that we don't like to admit to, the things we think about, and we're like, well, this isn't Christian, and I should never do that. The things that embarrass you to think about. It's like, I've been thinking maybe what we should be doing as Christians is not to ignore those or to try to kill them, but to try to lead them, to take charge of them. To take a simple example, if you're a young man and you feel special feelings about a girl, not to be too blunt, rather than trying to ignore that feeling because, a Christian wouldn't feel that way. Well, look, if you're single, you're going to want to get married. You're going to want to be with someone. So those feelings are natural. You can't ignore them. You can't wait for them to leave you because they're not going to. You have to lead them down a righteous path. You have to make a plan for yourself. It's almost like it's your child, and your child doesn't know how to act. In fact, it's a lot like raising a child, now that I think about it. Your child has all these desires and doesn't know what to do with them. But if you take charge of it, you can teach your child emotional control. You can teach them to do the right thing. You can teach them to obey and not hurt themselves. And you can teach them how to have fun within the boundaries of the rules. And I think that's really what it comes down to. Sin is, like that desire for sin, the way it describes it here, is something that you need to take charge of and lead it toward a righteous path. Allow it to enjoy freedom within boundaries. Allow it to enjoy, don't try to kill it out of your life, but try to give it an expression in your life that is meaningful and righteous, right? Like, a lot of people give advice to young people, especially young men, saying you should never feel desire, you should never feel lust. But, like, that misses the point. The thing a young man needs to do is work hard and earn the trust of a woman and then take good care of her, right? That's what a young man should be doing. A young man shouldn't be focused on trying to change the way he feels and trying to get rid of all of his lustful thoughts or whatever. Like, you're supposed to take charge of it, not kill it, right? I think that's a deep lesson. I think that's a good lesson. All right. Now, but back to the children's story. All right, so Cain said to Abel, his brother, let's go into the field. Now, before, I think I substituted a different word for field, didn't I? But I don't have it written down here, so we're just going to wing it. Okay. While they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel. Now, I don't know that I'm going to keep the image of rising up. I think this is a case where being literal is okay. To rise against. I could say he stood against Abel. You know, this is something children do to each other. They stand against each other. So I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Against Abel, his brother, and then killed him. I mean, what else can I say? He killed him. There's no way to... I mean, it's a scary story, really, if you think about it. This is not a nice story. This is a scary story. Yahweh said to Cain, where is Abel, your brother? He said, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? You know, I'm assuming they were adults at the time this conversation was had, but heck, maybe they were teenagers. We don't know. It doesn't really say. It says that they were both working in different ways, so it kind of sounds like, you know, when you go up here, it says Abel was a sheep rancher, but Cain farmed the ground. So it sounds like they've established themselves independently of their father, right? So it sounds like they're grown, at least grown in the eyes of their family. Like, by all descriptions, they're grown. Keeper. Now the word keeper is shamar, to hedge about with thorns, to guard. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, this might have been the same word used for Adam, the keeper of the garden. Abel was a keeper of sheep. That's a different word. For some reason, we're stuck in chapter 4. Oh gosh, okay. Moving all around the Bible. Genesis 3, let's say. No, that's too late. Genesis 2. Actually, oh man, I deleted it from here. I should have kept it there. Okay, God made the earth. Okay. He put the man in Eden. Okay, the Lord formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils a breath of life, and man became a living soul. The Lord planted a garden eastward in Eden, put the man there. Right, we talk about the rivers then. The Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to cultivate and keep it. It is the same word, to keep it. So let's look at how Adam is keeping the garden. This is chapter 2, verse 15. Here we go. To keep it safe. Okay, am I my brother's keeper? Am I the one who keeps my brother safe? I almost want to say, am I my brother's parent? Am I his guardian? Man, I don't think there's anything better than keeper I can put here. I want to put protector here, but I want to keep the reading level low. It's a mix between, on one hand, what are words that would be more understandable to a young person versus words that are easier to read. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I in charge of my brother? That doesn't have quite the same meaning, but I like it. I did mention taking charge before, right? I did. Am I in charge of my brother's safety? I think that's close enough for now. 10. Yahweh said, "What have you done?" The voice of your brother's blood cries to me from the ground. We already mentioned voice before. Now you are cursed. Now the last time Adam was cursed, right? Man, I really should have kept that. All right, so it would be on screen. I think it's chapter 3 where they're cursed. Yeah, there we go. So chapter 3 is a lesson learned for next time. Right. So to Adam he said, "Because you've listened to your wife's voice and have eaten from the tree about which I commanded you, the ground is cursed for your sake." And here he's saying, you are cursed because of the ground. Interesting. Now this is 17. Let me check. This is 3:17. Let me check King James Version. Right, it says, "Cursed is the ground for your sake." And here it's saying you're cursed for the ground's sake. All right, what did I do in chapter 3, verse 17? Let's close 1 and 2. Chapter 3, 17. The ground is cursed because of you. Okay, so I used the word cursed. It's funny, I found a good substitution for blessed, but not for cursed. Cursed is the ground. Arar. Okay. And then if we go to 4, this is not 7. Wait. This is supposed to be right here in verse 6 area. Well, I didn't count verse 7. I didn't quite finish it, so that's fine. Okay. You are cursed. Same word. Okay. You are cursed because of the ground. I'll just say since. Which has opened its mouth to take, receive. I'll say take your brother's blood from your hand. I mean, I think that's reasonably descriptive. It says it pretty clearly conveys the message. From now on, when you till the ground, when you farm the ground, it will not yield its strength to you. It will not give in to you, I could say. The word yield literally means give. Nathan. But it means lots of things. And the words for strength, force, vigor. It will not give you its energy. I feel like that's what it's saying, give you its energy, right? It won't share with you. Share its strength with you. I think that's the best way to translate it. So it won't allow you to grow crops, basically, is what it's saying. You could even say life energy here, because we're talking about growing plants, and yeah, fascinating. You will be a fugitive. Well, it's not just a criminal, it's someone who's running away. Well, it looks like the original means, okay, to waver. Many applications. I think fugitive is too specific. You'll be a scaredy cat who runs away. I think scaredy cat's a good translation of someone who wavers. I don't know. The problem is scaredy cat is probably a regional thing. I mean, I did mention crawly Raleigh. Crawly, what did I say before? Crawly, creepy crawlies. That's probably a regional thing as well. I don't even know how big the region is. I guess I'd have to do a poll. You will be a okay, let's go with the rest of the verse. You will be a fugitive and a wanderer. King James says a fugitive and a vagabond. It says, okay, this word also means to waver or wander. Interesting. Disappear. Huh. It could mean, from the idea of shaking the head in sympathy, it could mean to console someone. Or from tossing the head in scorn, it could mean to taunt someone. So this word does a lot of heavy lifting. Bemoan, like you can imagine someone moving their head in disgust, going ugh, or ugh. To bemoan, to just be disgusted. To flee. I think scaredy cat makes a lot of sense. You'll be scared you won't stay in one place. Man. This is a tricky one indeed. This is describing someone who is like an orphan or a foster kid, Some kids are really going to relate to this and really feel like, hey, this describes me. You will be scared. I could say scaredy cat. Heck, I don't have a reason not to. Except that I can't spell it. I don't know how to spell scaredy cat. Let's look that one up real quick. Scaredy cat. Okay, we need an extra E there. Let's look up etymology, huh? I'd like to see how widespread it's used. I mean, this is pretty much what it is. Okay, well that's just way too much. I don't want a cat-specific thing. Let's look for an actual resource. Instead of someone who looked up and made it. Fraidy cat. That's okay. That's maybe a little bit older. Okay. I'll use Fraidy cat. It's a little older, maybe. You will be a fraidy cat, and I want to say wander from place to place. Maybe go from place to place without staying. Will not live in one place for very long. Will not live in any place for very long. You're going to be a wanderer. You will not live in any place in the world. You'll be a fugitive and a wanderer in the earth. You will not live in any place in the world for very long. 13. Cain said to Yahweh. See, it's really important to translate this for kids. You know, you'll have kids who are maybe a foster kid, maybe not well behaved. You know, they've gone from place to place. None of the foster families can handle them. You know, they could read this and be like, okay, this is me. So now I need a path to redemption. Right? I need a way out of this mess. I don't like this. Cain said to Yahweh, my punishment. What do you call it when you're punishing a kid? It's on the tip of my tongue, you know? Shoot. I mean, I could just say punishment. I'm going to start with punishment. I have to think of something, though. Is more than I can stand. Look. You have kicked me out from the surface of the ground. I'll just say the whole world. From the whole world. I will be hidden from your face. I will hide from your face. And I will be a fraidy cat and will not live anywhere in the world. Anyone who finds me, will kill me. He's already a fraidy cat. Yahweh said to him, since maybe he says okay. Whoever slays Cain. I'm going to say anybody again. Anybody who kills Cain therefore whoever slays Cain, vengeance will be taken on him sevenfold. Will be punished 7 times worse. I'll put the number 7. Kids got to learn it. It's got to be one of the most common words. I wonder if it's even common in Wikipedia where they're likely to use a digit. Yeah, look at that. It's even 500 in Wikipedia where you know most of the time they're just using the digit. Yahweh appointed a sign. Now, I want to be careful about this one. I could just say made a sign. He set a mark in the King James. To put. Yeah, I'm just going to say put a mark. A mark on Cain, so that anyone who finds him would not attack him. I could just say would not hit him. What does it say? Strike. Yeah, I'll just say would not hit him. Oh, that's true. If you have a mark of vengeance, right, warning you not to harm someone, if you have a mark of vengeance on someone, warning you not to kill them, you know, if it's threatening 7-fold vengeance, you might not even want to strike them. You might not even want to get in a fight with them. Okay. 16. Cain left Yahweh's presence. I could just say left from. And lived in the land of Nod. How do you pronounce this? Node. I'm just going to spell it Node. East of Eden. Okay, Cain knew his wife. Well, let's talk about... can we do a split here? Oops. Split down or right? I don't really understand what that means. Split down. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay. The man and his wife Eve had a baby. Okay. Cain and his wife had a baby. She got pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Okay. Hanoke. 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 Huh. Enoch is common enough that maybe I should not change the spelling. And this is kind of arbitrary. I need to get some standards, or at least documentation. She gave birth to Enoch. He built a city. Now I'm going to say Cain built a city. Made a city and named the city the same as his son, Enoch. Okay. And then we have Arad. Irad. Now this guy's less common, so I'm going to say it, try to get people to say it right. Irad was Enoch's son. Irad was the dad of Mehuel. Meh-u-yal-el. Mech-e-yal-el. Mech-u or mech-e? Me-u Ya El. Kids are gonna, yeah, there we go. Meu Ya El. Irad was the dad of Meuyael. Now this is going to be a little bit easier to translate, I think. Meuyael Mehu. Mehu. We'll just do it that way. Mehuyael was the dad of Methushael. Methushael. Thu. Okay. Methushael was the dad of Lamech. Lamech is pretty common, right? Methushael was the dad of Lamech. 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 Lamech took 2 wives. We're just going to say took. Took 2 wives. The name of the first wife was Adah. Ada. And the name of the second wife was Zillah. Zillah. There we go. Ada gave birth to Jabal. Now these people are famous, right? Jabal is the father of people who dwell in tents. That makes him kind of famous. Let's give, okay, Lamech took 2 wives. Verse 19, let's give him his own paragraph. Gave birth to Jabal. Jabal. There we go. We'll try to keep the name spelled the same way because it's kind of common. Jabal was the father of those who dwell in tents? Yeah, it's just the word dad. It could mean forefather, right? He was the forefather of those who dwell in tents. I could just say he was the first. I mean, what we're really trying to say was he was the founder. I'm sure dad's pretty uncommon here pretty uncommon in Wikipedia, but very common for kids. Father is up there. Then we have founder, which is still less common than father. Was the first to live in a tent and have livestock and be a rancher. I could say he was the first rancher to live in a tent. Okay. His brother's name, I'm assuming this is his younger brother, right? His brother's name was Jubal. Jubal. Jubal was the first to play the harp and the flute. I assume when they mean pipe, they mean flute. Here it says organ or reed instrument. Okay. I mean clarinet. Reed instruments of history. I could just say woodwind. Right. I know how it works. I want examples. Okay, so the woodwind is, it contains the flutes and reed pipes. I could just say reed pipe. I could say oboe, but like clarinet's going to be the most common one. That's a big word. Reed pipe. It's like a clarinet. Okay, but that's better than saying organ. Okay. Zillah also gave birth. Also had children. She gave birth to Tubal-Cain. Tubal-Cain. Cain. Tubal-Cain. You know, I never thought about this, but Cain, the way we say his name might well be inaccurate. Yeah, Cain. His name should be said Cain. That's his name. It's not Cain and Abel, it's Cain. Well, what do you know? Because, you know, in English, you put A and I together and it's a diphthong. But here, it's, I forget the word for it, but it's two separate vowels. It's not one combined vowel. Cain. Tubal-Cain. The truth is, we're just going to say Tubal-Cain in English. That's just how we're going to say it. Tubal-Cain. Man, English is weird when it comes to the Bible. Anyway, I'm going to put those names in there the way they were as best I can. Tubal-Cain. Honestly, the original probably was... Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong area. Okay. Tubal-Cain. Tubal-Cain. Anyway, that's enough of that. Tubal-Cain. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. The forger of every cutting instrument of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain was a forger. I'm not going to say he was the father, the first to do it or anything. I'm just going to... that's kind of implied, right? Made every... was a maker of knives, and every cutting tool using bronze and iron. There. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. 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 Okay. 23. Lamech said to his wives, Adah, Oh, I spelled her name wrong. Ada. There we go. Where else did I use it? Show all. It looks like I got it right now. And Zilla. Good. Hear my voice. I could say listen to me, but hear my voice works. You wives of Lamech, listen to my speech. You wives of Lamech, listen to my speech. Voice and speech. Voice means to call aloud. Okay, speech to my words. Okay. I have killed a man for hurting me. I killed a young man for bruising me. I could say making me bleed, but that's not quite right. Wounding. That's not really very specific. To split. Okay. Bruising me. The Hebrew's not helping me, at least what I can look up in this Strong's. A welt. Bruise. Because he bruised me. If Cain will be avenged 7 times, truly Lamech 77 times. Okay, we want to go down to Fraidy Cat. Okay. If Cain's killer will be punished 7 times, truly my killer will be punished 77 times. Okay. Then my killer will be punished 77 times. Okay, 25. Adam and his wife. Let's go back to that part. Adam and his wife had another kid. Had another baby. She gave birth to a son and named him Seth, saying, since God has, I'll just say God has given me another child, Instead of, man, okay, this isn't working out. This is way too complex. God has given me another child instead of Abel. I don't want to say to replace, but is that what she's saying? Where it says instead in English, it apparently means the bottom, below, instead of. Interesting. But it means the bottom, under. Underneath. Wow. So definitely not a replacement, but man, the English doesn't really do that justice. God has given me another child. I could say under. Under Abel, the one who Cain killed. Okay. Seth also had a son, and he named him Enosh. Enosh is about right. Enosh. 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 I guess we'll stay consistent with how we've been doing it. Enosh. I'm skipping ahead here. At that time, men began to call on Yahweh's name. Around the same time, men, kalal, huh? This doesn't actually have a gender. The word then began men, then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Then began men is one word. People, did you start before or begin? I think I used begin. This is the very beginning. In the beginning, began to call out to I'll just say call out the name of the Lord. Yeshua. Wait. That's not what they're saying. Yahweh. Call out Yahweh's name. It means that they're praying to Yahweh. Hmm. call and honor. Respectfully. Let's see, honesty. Like apparently to call upon the name. Upon the name is like it's a term of respect, an appellation, a mark of individuality. Oh, it literally means a name. I see. They begin to call. Rather identical with a different word, meaning to encounter, whether accidentally or in a hostile manner. Yeah, okay. So they have the same spelling, in other words. It's identical through the idea of accosting a person met. What does accosting mean? That means to attack, doesn't it? Or does it mean to try to sell them something? Oh, to approach and speak to, especially aggressively or insistently. Okay, as a demand or request. To request. Okay. I see. That's what it means. Okay. Began to call out. So I feel like the idea of saying pray to makes a lot of sense here. Bandit called his name praying, requesting. Praying. They're praying. They're asking him for stuff. Yeah, I think that works. And I also think that's where we're going to end today. Let's see. We've started with verse 7, basically, and got to 25. Bring the calculator out. 25 minus 6, because, yeah, 19 verses. And how long did we take today? Wow, about an hour. Okay. 1 hour. So that would be 19 verses per hour. Not bad. Not bad at all. And apparently the stream's loading, so I hope you guys got to see things. There we go. Okay, it's working now. Not bad. Now that's a great place to stop. All right, this has been the Bible for Kids. I guess we're calling it a podcast now. This is Creative Craving, and I hope to see